Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beauty in Black, that's currently streaming on Netflix. This is season 1 and episode 5. So let's get into this episode. All right, so I'm going to be bringing to you, at least today, you'll get 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8 tomorrow because it is going to be in a holiday weekend. So possibly you got time to check out these reviews and go on about your life. The reason I'm speeding it up is that I'm going to be covering a new series this upcoming week. But it looks like I'm going to be doing stuff on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I believe it's Tough Love Atlanta. They're coming back with their second season, which is basically their 6th season, at least what they were saying last year. But anyways, that comes back on Tuesday. So I think we're going to be getting an episode every Tuesday for probably the next 10 weeks or so. I'm not for sure how long. However, I also want to start Bondage season 3 so that I can get that out of the, I don't want to say get that out of the way, but I'm ready to start that. I was going to do that until I found out that Tough Love was coming out. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to, I had to get some stuff out of the way. So that I'm just explaining myself. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, probably not right up front. You'll at least get something on Wednesday this week. And probably towards later in the month, you'll start getting stuff on Tuesdays also. All right, so enough explaining. Now for real, let's get into this episode. So Kimmy, she pulls up to her motel, and also Buddy and Delinda and some other girls meet her there. And Kimmy's been MIA, and Buddy ends up slapping her, saying, "Where have you been? I've been calling, da 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 da." Kimmy's giving attitude and not really saying anything. So they end up throwing her in the van and all that good stuff. Norman and Jules. Jules comes to the hospital and speaks with him. He does say that he's kind of done some investigation to find out what's going on. Her body, Ina's body, was at the tow yard, but everyone there has been shot and killed. And Norman's like, I can't believe what is happening. And the camera footage is not that good. Norman gives an update on Ina and says that the swelling has gone down on her brain, but he does believe that one of his nephews did this. And Jules is like, are you sure about this? And he's like, who else would do this? In my will, if something happens to me, all of my shares goes to my widow. That's how my father set it up, and I wish I had looked at that a lot, or did a better job in regards to the will. So they think that Ina has been attacked because of the shares. I don't know. I mean, none of them seem like they want it. It's just kind of like, it's theirs, so I might as well take what's mine, you know. Norman also says that the doctor is going to be taking Ina out of her coma on tomorrow, and we got to see how that goes. So after Jules leaves, because Norman wants him to find out who was the one that ran over his wife, he calls Mallory and says, hey, this is what's up. You need to talk to your father-in-law. Ina's doing better. At this point, he says, you know, he really thinks that one of the boys did this. You need to come up here and talk to your uncle. For some reason, everybody in the family except Roy views Mallory as the good one, the reliable one, and all of that. And Jules was like, what if they actually found out that you were this evil, cold-blooded person? And she's like, well, they're never going to find out. And Jules said, well, they may actually respect you a whole lot even more. So obviously there's been a lot of secrets, and we haven't even gotten to any type of layers of stuff that's been done in this family. And that's at least starting from the brothers on down. And I am very interested just to see where the series goes and see what we're actually going to uncover and learn. She says, well, look, where's Roy? What has he been doing? He says he doesn't really, Jules says that he doesn't know anything. All right, so Kimmy got dropped off at Roy's place. And again, she has to go through the humiliation that she went through last time, but Roy has an agenda this time. She comes in and he asks her, did you call my wife? And then Kimmy plays dumb. Then we get a little bit more of Roy's vulnerable side. He says he's acting very mean and volatile towards her. Then he says, you have no idea what it is to be like me. My father and mother hate me. I want to know why they hate you. My queer brother is a loser. Why he gotta be queer like that? I mean, he is, but y'all got these labels on this person for what? They put all the pressure on me to run this business. Then he begins to berate her and tells her to take off her clothes. So he's there watching her as she's taking off her clothes and starts to masturbate. But he can't really get his to work, if you know what I mean. So then he gets frustrated with her and he says, "You didn't call my wife. You're too stupid to call my wife. Get out." And then Kimmy leaves. It's like, Lord Jesus. Oh, I really want to tell you what my predictions are, because I really feel like the 2B or 1B is going to be quite interesting. Mallory keeps saying image, 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 and you're going to hear more about it in the next few episodes, where she's just like, she really needs to know what's going on with Roy. I'm worried about my image. Kimmy's going to be a different type of adversary for Mallory, I believe, at least in the B season, which is coming in spring. So Angel is done with Horace, and he says, "When can I see you again?" He says, "I'll communicate through Kimmy to get to you." And then he gives a lot of lingo as far as pimp and prostitute language. And Horace is like, "What are you talking about? Speak to me in plain English." And basically, "Are you paying her for me?" And he says, "No. Why would I do that?" Anyways, at this point, Angel leaves. Horace is walking out. Kimmy is back at her place, and Horace asks, "Thank you for what you did. I'm sorry that it was over an hour. And are you okay?" Because Kimmy's quite edgy and mean-ish. It's not the same type of communication that they've had before, as we have seen in the last episode. She said, "Yeah, I'm just tired." So, Angel did not leave. I'm sorry. Angel does now stay, is at Kimmy's place. Kimmy goes inside, Horace leaves, and Angel vents about Horace. He's coughing up blood. Is he okay? Da 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 da. Said, "Look, I'm willing to still meet up with him, but all I want to do is just dance for him." And then all of a sudden, Angel's baby mama calls him, and she already announced that the baby mama thinks that he's effing around with some people at the strip club. Well, as they're talking, she's like, "Where are you at?" Blah, 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 blah. We find out that the baby mama is outside. I think her name is Yolanda, and is breaking up the car windows that she has. Well, she brought along her brothers, because he started getting angry, but he never charged her or anything. But they were on standby to really deal with him. And she just broke off his windows and said that you're no longer welcome. And he was like, "Well, look, I still need to see my baby, Angel, whatever, Junior." So it's like, she said she don't care, and you need to go. So basically, Angel's staying with Kimmy. Angel is quite pissed because he's like, "Look, I don't have anything that I can do right now. We got to take this man." And at this point, Kimmy said, "Let's do it." As far as Horace, they want to rob him. So Jules comes to Horace's home, and this is the actual mansion home. He tells her about Ina. I forgot why I jotted down phone call. I forgot what happened right then. But he just says, really Jules is asking, who does, Jules is saying that Norman, he wanted to know who he thinks did this. Which one of his sons did it? And Norman says, "Who do you think did it? Or who do you know did it?" to Jules. And Jules ended up saying Roy did it. He also says that the cameras were scrubbed. And Horace is asking, what's the chance of her remembering what happened? I mean, it's raining and she's running. All she would know is that a car hit her. Does anyone else have any ideas? Because it's like, you were just running out in the street. I have no clue as to why, even as you're running, that you didn't see this car coming by either, Miss Ina. It still doesn't make sense that you were running out in the rain. Unless there is something else that we haven't known or gotten any knowledge of Norman, I guess, doing something to Ina. I wonder if that's going to be something that we see, because it's like, why are you running in the rain like that? That it did not make any sense. Then Horace says that I hate them MFing boys. They're nothing like me. They're so like their mother. It's just so weird at how this whole family hates each other. And they only respect Mallory out of all people. I want to know what that's all about. And then they use Jules to be the one to help out with problems. Jules said, look, I can handle this if you want me to. And he said, no, that's going to be too messy. I know Dr. Peter Framer. He's a director of the patients. And he owes me a favor. And Jules is like, what type of favor does he owe you? He said, the only favors that I really have that I want distributed out are bodies are buried. So basically, Dr. Peter is going to do something for him deadly. So we're back at the hospital, and this black nurse comes in. It's very warm, welcomely. And the first thing she says, you know, hey, we got a bed for you if you want to get out of this chair. And he's like, no. She's carrying on conversation, and she pulls out this syringe. Norman wasn't paying attention, but all of a sudden she put something in the IV. It was very welcoming. He said no, he didn't want the bed, but she said, you know, if you do change your mind, come back out. They talk a little bit about Ina, but just that quickly. Later on in the episode, I think he goes to the nurse's station and says, you know, I want my bed, as you said before, or not, I want my bed. And they were like, excuse me? Like, where's the nurse that I was talking to? What nurse is that? So nobody knows who this nurse and all of that. And he thought it was weird or whatever, but I don't think he ended up getting the bed. Not that I remember. Anyway, Mallory and Calvin. Mallory calls Calvin in and asks him, where's Roy? I can't track him on his phone. Calvin says he does not know, and he asks, you know, how close are you to Jules? Not that close, you know. He said one time he tried to ask about something about Jules and a woman, and he bit my head off, and I couldn't really get that close to him like that, or ask a question like that. But she does say, you know, you can't share every detail about yourself with anyone. Got it? Got it. But she says if you do find out information about Roy, I'll make it worth your while. And he says, is that just a monetary thing or in other ways? And she's like, what other way do you think it's supposed to be in as far as just monetarily wise? All she says is, let me know what Roy is doing. Let me know what Roy is doing. Period. So at this diner that serves everything on plastic ware, that means a plastic cup, forks, plates, whatever. I'm like, y'all there? Is that cheap at this place? I mean, they could have had some type of dishes in there, even if they were like Family Dollar dishes. I was like, ooh, okay. Jules comes by and wants to speak to Body. And Body goes out there to speak with Jules, and he tells her that, yeah, did you find her? And she said yes, but she's just giving me a lot of flack. Jules is thinking that Body is the wrong one for these girls. It's like maybe she should be replaced by Kimmy, since it seems like Kimmy is the one that could be able to rule you. And Body's like, no, let me make it up to you. And she's trying to be all sexual and all that stuff. And he says, what are you doing? I'm trying to make it up to you. And he's like, open your mouth wider. You don't think that I know about all the men that you've had it in your mouth and in your body? I don't want nothing from you like that. Like, you are insulting me by asking me that. I said, ooh. Then he just says, get the F out of here. So at this point, Body is pissed. She goes back into the restaurant. And Delinda wants to know what's going on. And she ends up telling all the other girls, get the F out of here. Blah, 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 having this temper tantrum. And then she goes on to say what Jules was saying. He's thinking about replacing me with that Kimmy. And she's like, no, I know you ain't gonna let your spot be taken. Da, 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 da. She's like, well, I gotta get something over her. Do you know where her mama lives? No. Does she have a sister? I don't know. She hang out with Angel. You think they effing? I don't know. You know, the only thing that we know that she was close to was Rain. So obviously they got a plan going on. Norman. Okay, I already talked about that. I'll take the bed. So Body and Delinda, they ride by Kimmy's place and they see Angel's car there, and they was like, So we don't know what they're growing up. Mallory and calls Charles and says, hey, we need a powwow this morning. It's about the lawsuit. You know, Charles can't really be bothered. He don't really want to be a part of it. And we need to talk about it, and you're the only sane person within this family that we can really discuss this. We find out that Charles got a guest that's showering, and it's Barney. So now we know why Barney, in two ways, as to why he did not want to have sex with Mallory. A, business-wise, and then also, B, he's a little bit gay. I'm figuring that he's possibly closeted. At least Mallory didn't know that he was gay. But y'all can let me know what y'all think. So Charles is demanding Barney to tell him, what do I need to know? And Barney was like, you know, you can lose everything with this lawsuit. How do I stop it? Nobody really knows. Just go in there and have the meeting with Mallory. He did say that when he asked that question, you know, how much money do you have saved up? He said, well, at this point, you need to sober up and get focused on all of this stuff. Charles was like, can I see, am I going to see you tonight? Like, no, da-da-da-da-da. He's playing the whole DL role. Don't complicate this. Charles is more interested in Barney. Barney wants to not be implicated with the family because he just got this job and he does not want to lose it. So that's where we're at with that situation. Mallory and Roy. She wakes up Roy and said, oh, you came in at 3 a.m. And then she says, let me be caught as a B on the blogs and I will kill you. Because she's all about image. They start trading insults to each other, and then Roy was like, you're really a vulture, along with my whole family. And then she says, being around this family has made me this way. Which is, it's still weird that they don't know that Mallory is this evil gutter snipe just like them. Interesting. So, Mallory's ready to go to the office. She goes outside and tells Jillian, you're not coming to work. And Jillian's insistent on, well, can I help you with something? Like, I did your dry cleaning on yesterday, basically, find your own way. And she's like, am I doing something wrong? Mallory goes into, look, I don't want to be around you. You smell like old grease and mouthballs. You smell like Jim Crow. Now, I don't know how you smell like what Jim Crow smells like. I mean, really, Jim Crow, they were just hanging you from crosses and burning up your body. So, is she smelling like dead, flaming skin? Ooh. Ooh. Like, anyways, Mallory leaves with Calvin, and Jillian is there. She comes up to the house, and she goes into Mallory's bedroom, and she pulls out this dress that she says that Mallory wants. And Roy's all of a sudden, he's very suspicious of all that. She's like, well, wait, Mallory doesn't wear anything twice. What is going on? Is this a setup? Jillian's like, no, it's not a setup. Whatever, get up out of here. He calls Mallory and says, you trying to set me up? What are you talking about? And then again tries to insult his intelligence by calling him dumb and stupid and all that. They hang up. So, we're back at the hospital. Norman is talking with the doctor, and the doctor said that the test results are in on Ina. And she says that we've done all that we could do. Ina does not have any brain activity, and there's a 2% chance that she's going to make it. So what are you saying, doctor? She's not going to recover. She said, well, wait a minute. Everything was just progressing yesterday. You were going to take her out of the coma. I'm sorry. This is what we have going on. So then at this point, Norman calls Jules and says, I got to move my wife. And Jules is like, wait, what? I know my brother got to her. And Jules is not really understanding what's happening, but they're trying to kill her. I need her moved. So he hangs up from Jules and saying, get it done. Norman calls Horace and says, you did this to her. And Horace is like, what? He said that I will kill both of your sons. And Horace said, don't announce what you're going to do. I need you to go on and do it and not call me MFA. I said, oh, okay. Well, Norman, you did do it. So that's my interpretation and my review of what happened in episode 5 of Beauty in Black. It's interesting to me. Hopefully it's still interesting to you. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for episode 6. And until the next one, peace.
Bye.